Hey, before we get started on this video, I just wanted to make a quick little announcement here. Next week, there will not be a new episode of Doctor Who. Now, don't you worry, we are going to be reacting to Series 11. However, we're just not going to do it immediately, basically. So what I'm trying to say is, right now, as I am recording this, it is December the 21st. And I am coming up on Christmas, and I wanted to take a break at Christmas. You've probably seen on some of my other videos that other videos have gotten a little break, and now it's time for Doctor Who. So, and I know that, I'm recording this episode right now, but this is probably not going to go up until, looks like January. Yeah. Almost. We almost got the timing on that, but that's okay. But yeah, next week there will not be a new episode of Doctor Who. Instead, come back 2 weeks from now and we will be getting into Series 11. So yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say, real quick. Hey guys, it's Alex from 7th Hour Films, back again with Doctor Who. Last time on Doctor Who, we had The Doctor Falls. Excuse me, I forgot what it was called for a second. I remembered World Enough and Time, but I forgot. Yes, The Doctor Falls, where basically the Master and Missy were there, and then they all went to a different level of this ship, and they were just... they were kind of hanging out, preparing for the Cybermen. The Master and Missy actually didn't really have an evil plan. They were just sort of there. The Master was really just there to remind Missy of who she really was, So that was interesting. He really wasn't the antagonist, But we had Bill, who was turned into a Cyberman, and how she was dealing with that. We had the Doctor, who had been... taking quite a beating and was actually about to regenerate. And then they defeated the Cybermen, and the Doctor was taken by Bill and Heather. Heather, the water girl, came back, and she and Bill are now water together. I don't know how that works, but I don't really know how the water worked to begin with, so I guess that doesn't really, it doesn't really matter. And then they brought the Doctor back to the TARDIS, and the Doctor woke back up, and his body was like, all right, time to regenerate, man, but he does not want to. He does not want to regenerate, and the TARDIS has dropped him off in Antarctica in 1986, where he has now met the first Doctor, who, the last time when he was in Antarctica, he was about to regenerate. So, I think we're in for a very, very interesting story with the 12th Doctor and the first Doctor. Isn't that just amazing? But yeah, this is where I say no spoilers in the comments whatsoever. And we might as well get into this episode of Doctor Who. Here we go. Previously on Doctor Who. Is this gonna show? Oh my gosh! Oh! Ben! 709 episodes ago. Whoa!
Have you no emotions?
Whoa, that was a good transition.
What's happened to you, Doctor?
I guess
Oh!
the old body of mine is wearing a bit thin.
Oh, that's cool to see him with the new
Doctor,
style.
Wakey, it's all over now.
Oh, new Ben and Polly.
I must get back to the TARDIS.
He doesn't want to regenerate. A long time ago at the South Pole, the Doctor refused to regenerate.
Hello?
And who should he happen to find?
Who
Twice.
is that?
You're mid-regeneration, aren't you?
Yeah.
Your face. It's all over the place. But you're trying to hold it back.
You're both mid.
I don't remember this. I don't remember trying not to change.
Huh. The timelines are out of sync. You don't remember.
If you don't do the things that you are supposed to do, the consequences could be...
Oh.
Slow.
Snow? Look at it!
It stopped.
Sorry.
Who the hell?
So sorry. I don't suppose I
Either of you is a doctor.
Yeah, Mycroft, what are you doing here?
Trying to be funny.
Are you trying to be funny? Oh my gosh, this is amazing. What an amazing idea for a story, you know?
I do not have the slightest desire to kill you. The only reason I would do so is self-defense.
This
However,
is that Christmas.
Since you are aware I might...
What the hell? Ugh!
This is Earth, a level 5 civilization.
And it is protected.
Is what?
Yeah, that's...
Okay, that doesn't usually work.
Protected by whom?
What?
Oh, it is early days, isn't it?
Yeah, he's not quite protector of Earth, is he?
A little snug from this angle.
But that's...
You might be in for a sip.
That's not your TARDIS.
Do I become you?
Well, there's a few false starts, but you get there in the end.
False starts.
I thought,
What?
well, I assumed I'd get younger.
Younger.
I am younger!
Brandy, get him brandy. Do you have any? I had some. This is my
It's complicated, actually. I am also.
my nurse.
Nurse.
Excuse me?
I realize that seems a little improbable
Yes.
because he's a man.
What?
Older gentlemen, like women, can be put to use.
You can't say things like that.
Yeah.
Can't I? Have you had some of this?
Well, you know, I may have snuck a glass.
Yeah, the wife
at some
did.
point in the last 1,500 years. It's been rock and roll.
1,500 years.
Well, a place could do with a good dusting. Obviously, Polly isn't around anymore.
Well, come on.
Please, stop saying things like that.
I mean, I'm sure both Ben and Polly had to do that. Oh, what's happening now?
For you are the Doctor of War.
The Doctor, yes. The Doctor of War, never, Mom, never.
Later. Spoilers.
We offer you a gift.
It's a good thing he won't remember this.
Human of
Bill.
Young lady, who are you?
That's Bill.
That device, what is it?
The sonic screwdriver.
A what? Screwdriver?
Yeah. He doesn't have that yet.
Sunglasses.
They're sonic.
Sonic sunglasses.
Indoors.
we take from you what we need and return you to the moment of your death. We are testimony.
That's...
See who you will become.
Wait. Who you will be...
The Doctor
Oh!
has walked in blood through all of time.
Oh no.
The Doctor has
Too many spoilers.
the Imp of the Pandorica.
Huh.
The Shadow
Oh.
of the Valiant.
Whoa.
The Beast of Trenzalore.
Beast of
The
Trenzalore.
Butcher. He is the Doctor of War.
One's not gonna like that, is he?
What was that?
To be fair, they cut out all the jokes.
Yeah.
Do what I do.
No. Oh. It's crazy to think about the first Doctor doing this.
They've got my TARDIS. Over to you, Mary Berry.
Nah. Yeah, we still have his TARDIS, but his TARDIS is not very functional.
It's another of the same TARDIS.
Yeah. That's the original. Oh, man. It actually does look like the original.
Hang on, the windows are the wrong size.
Inside, quickly.
Duh. Yeah.
Off now.
If you like, ladies made of glass.
Well, aren't all ladies made of glass in a way?
Very good, sir, very good.
Are we now?
Oh, my dear, I hope it doesn't offend you to know that I have had some experience of the fairer sex.
Me too.
Good Lord.
Nah. Oh, that sound. Man, the first Doctor,
Where are we?
I don't know. The first Doctor was always above everyone, but it was everyone.
And respect me.
You're an ass.
Yeah.
You know that? You're a stupid, bloody ass.
If I hear any more language like that from you, young lady, you're in for a jolly good smack bottom.
Can we just pretend that that never happened?
I'm a good-minded girl.
Oh,
I mean,
back when he was grandpa.
Another nip of brandy. So, that's where it went.
You really never drank that for 1,500 years? I don't like that. Maybe she's just the frozen water of Bill.
you have family.
My wife will miss me. Sons are supposed to move on from their fathers. It's the proper way.
Aww.
Of course.
Trouble is, I thought I'd been rescued.
Nah.
Felt rather like a miracle, in fact.
I wonder what his name
I have
is.
this feeling they're going to put me back.
Because I have
Crater.
an idea about what his name is.
Die.
As a good Dalek.
Wait a sec.
I'm not a good Dalek.
Oh!
I'm a good Dalek.
It's Rusty!
You're the one who stole the TARDIS and ran away. What were you running to?
That's rather a good question.
Questions are kind of my thing.
By any analysis, evil should always win. Good is not a practical survival strategy. Why does good prevail? What keeps the balance between good and evil in this appalling universe?
Perhaps it's just some bloke wandering around, putting everything right when it goes wrong.
But the real world is not a fairy tale.
That
You
bad wolf
dash
theme.
around the universe trying to figure out what's holding it all together, and you really don't know.
You know me in the future.
He went out searching for himself.
Everyone who's ever met you does.
You are what holds the universe together.
Amazing, Doctor. Never forget that.
Aww.
Never.
We can hear the testimony of the past.
Interesting.
Channeled through our glass avatars, they can walk among us again. This is
Bill.
heaven on New Earth.
Nah. Yeah, 5 billion and 12.
It's not an evil plan.
Yeah. It just is.
I don't really know.
We caused the timeline error that put the captain in the wrong place.
What's so important about one captain?
Everybody's important to somebody.
What's his name?
My family. Perhaps you could look in on them from time to time.
We should be delighted. What's the name?
Lethbridge Stewart.
I knew it!
I shall make it my business.
You can trust him on that.
Yeah, I thought it was the mustache! Oh, that is so cool.
I say. Is that singing?
It is that Christmas, isn't it?
I adjusted the time frame only by a couple of hours. Any other day it wouldn't make any difference, but this is Christmas 1914.
Yeah.
And the human miracle is about to happen.
Oh,
The Christmas armistice.
how amazing.
You've saved him.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Never hurts. A couple fewer dead people on the battlefield.
That's what it means to be a doctor of war.
You were right, you know.
Doctor
The
in
universe
War.
generally fails to be a fairy tale.
Generally.
But that's where we come in.
You two are the fairy tale. Oh. Oh. Boys, I think it's time.
I think I'm ready now. But I should like to know, how are you?
Yeah.
You'll find out. A long way round.
1,500
Whatever
years
you
from now.
decide. Here we go.
Ah.
The long way round.
His first regeneration. Yeah. And he makes it back just in time for Ben and Polly. Oh! This is the legit regeneration. Oh, that was cool.
Merry Christmas, Doctor.
Oh.
Clara.
The memories of Clara.
All my memories are back.
And don't go forgetting me again, because,
Yeah.
quite frankly, that was offensive.
It was gonna be one of you.
Memories.
Where is he?
Oh.
Hello, sir.
I mean, this is everyone after their
You think
death.
that your day couldn't get any worse, but here you are.
Aw.
Both of you here.
Now I'm all made of glass, not just my nipples. Yeah, though they got my hair a bit wrong, though.
TMI, Nardole. Oh.
Cuddle.
Well, I suppose one more lifetime won't kill anyone.
At least one. Oh.
Except me.
Oh. Buddy. Oh. The TARDIS is like, don't regenerate in here, please.
Never be cruel, never be cowardly,
Yeah.
and never ever eat pears.
Specifically.
You mustn't tell anyone your name.
That's a big one.
No one would understand it anyway. Doctor, I let you go.
Oh. Oh! Oh, why does he have to do this in here? Oh! Oh, the ring fell off, just like the second Doctor. I love that they brought this music back. And there's Jodie Whittaker. Oh!
Oh, brilliant.
Oh! Ah! You jackass! Stop doing this on the TARDIS! Oh, come on. Get control, you bastard. Oh, that's not good at all. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay. That's it. That is it for the 12th Doctor. That is quite possibly one of my favorite episodes we have ever had. That was spectacular. That was so spectacular. And so incredible. Oh, boy. Oh. I hesitate to say it's number one now, but I mean, it almost. Oh, I don't know, because you guys know, my favorite has always been The Girl in the Fireplace, but honestly, this may eke it out. This may eke it out. Oh man. Why does he always regenerate in the TARDIS? Why does this fool always regenerate in the TARDIS. This is definitely a, we're going to be changing the set of the TARDIS, so it needs to be destroyed. So the TARDIS is crashing and it went up in flames. Maybe it was a good thing she wasn't in there, Although, I mean, she was still in the middle of regenerating, so she probably would have been fine, even if she got hit by all that fire. The regeneration probably would have kept her just fine. Like when River was shot in Let's Kill Hitler. But that should have been one of the last things he said. And Doctor, stop regenerating in the TARDIS! Stop regenerating in the TARDIS! At least since number 9. 9 to 10. 10 crashes. 10 blows up the TARDIS, 11 crashes. 11, we don't even know what, he just sneezes, becomes 12, and then the TARDIS is like, I'm gonna crash. And now 12 to 13, they did it again. And I feel like the TARDIS was trying to tell him that. Because while he was going on his speech, those cloister bells were going off like, no, don't do this here, you dumb Scottish bastard. Oh my gosh. Can I even call her a bastard anymore? I know I did. I was like, oh, you stupid bastard, but I don't know. I don't want to call her, because we always say like, this old bastard. It's like, I don't want to say like, this old bitch, Like, that seems horrible. So I may honestly still call her a bastard. So, oh man. I have never really heard Jodie Whittaker's voice like at all, because I haven't seen her in like anything else, so like, It's one of those things where it's like, obviously I've seen pictures of her and pictures of her as the Doctor, without spoilers, but I've never heard her voice, actually. So that was, I don't know, I'm very excited to get into a lot of 13th Doctor stuff, I'm very excited. Pretty much for a while, I've been very interested in what her performance is going to be like. And we'll talk more about that, obviously, after we watch some more of her performance. But, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Wow. Man. And to bring in... And all of this, bringing in the first Doctor as well, is so amazing. And that's exactly why the TARDIS brought them there. Also, did they explain how they got the first Doctor's TARDIS, like, properly functioning? Like, they never really said that. Okay. That, honestly, it's my favorite Christmas special. It just, without a doubt. And I know I've said, like, oh, the snowmen and, and stuff like that, but without a doubt, my favorite Christmas special, if not my favorite episode of the whole show. Oh man, an incredible send-off, and okay, so I know why there were some people that suggested that I watch this with Dad. Because, yes, this does pick up with the 10th Planet. This does pick up with the 10th Planet. But... And obviously I was like, well, even if I... Well, okay, because here's the thing, is that, so, long ago when, I was, really working on specific Doctor Who schedule, I remember seeing that after I finished the 12th Doctor, that my schedule maker was like, hey, maybe, now that you're done with Capaldi, you should have a Capaldi episode with Dad, like we did with Dalek for the 9th Doctor, Waters of Mars for the 10th Doctor, and the Doctor's Wife for the 11th Doctor. And the thing was, it was up to choice, but the suggested episode was Twice Upon a Time. And I was kind of thinking, because I knew Twice Upon a Time was Capaldi's final story. But I was thinking, man, would that be kind of weird? Showing a Doctor's final story as Dad's first look into the 12th Doctor. But I understand it. Because now that we have seen the 10th Planet, it would make sense, honestly, to watch this. And, there's a part of me that's like, I want to... we'll get there eventually, because apparently we are going to go through all of modern Doctor Who. We are going to go through all of modern Doctor Who after we finish all of classic Doctor Who, years and years from now. But, that could be 7 years from now, basically. That's a rough estimate of how long that would take. So there is a part of me that just does want to watch this one, even though he doesn't have the context for Bill and Nardole and Clara. I think it would still work, man. Also, I did just realize that it's the Christmas special, but I forgot to put out the Santa hat on the table. That's all right. Okay, good enough. That's good enough. That was brilliant, man. And I like, last episode I said that we had a pattern, We had a pattern with modern Doctor regenerations where 9 to 10, when 9 regenerated, he was like, oh, well, guess it's just my time. Well, I had a good run, I had a good run. I'm glad I am who I am now. Let's see who I'm going to be next. When 10 regenerated, he was like, oh, I don't want to go. Down to his last, I don't want to go. And then he regenerates. 11, when he regenerated, he was like, finally, I get to regenerate. I'm so old over here on Trenzalore. Yes, I am totally willing to regenerate. I had a good run. This was great. I will always remember when the Doctor was me, but I need to regenerate. And then 12, last episode, was basically saying, oh, no, never again. I will never regenerate again, But I like that this episode, it basically gives him a little bit of a story arc, a character arc for this, where he's come to terms with it, I like that, and him even saying, it's like, one more lifetime. It won't kill anyone, except me, I like that, where it's, because one thing is, I don't really, the whole thing of everything that I am dies and then some new man saunters away. I never really liked that, because it's like, well, but you still are the same person. And I get it, from a meta point of view, it makes sense, for the actor. But I always like the idea, it's like, yeah, even though it's a different body, it's still the same person, And he does remember all this stuff. So it's interesting. I like that this time it's like, no, I'll never regenerate again, and he's honestly not even just that, oh, I'm not going to regenerate, but he's saying, I'm ready to die here. I'm ready. I'm done. I'm, throwing in the towel. I am finished. But he comes to terms with it, He comes to terms with it, and he's like, okay, well, I did have a good run, and now I'm ready for, I can at least go one more, So I like that. And that's the thing. I like, you know what it kind of is? I think the reason why I don't like, each Doctor basically being a separate person, even though, yes, obviously they're all separate faces and stuff, but I like the idea that even though they're all separate faces and they do have, different personalities and some different views and stuff like that, the fact that they are still all the same person, because it's one of those things in fiction where it's like, fiction does a lot where it's like, okay, where there's something and you're like, oh, I want that, like fiction, it's, because fiction is always supposed to be an escape. It's an escape from reality, and sometimes you look at it and you're like, wow, I wish I lived in that reality, like, I wish I was the Doctor. But if I was the Doctor, I would always still want a sense of, no, I'm still me. Even if I did change my face, like, let's say I get shot and I turn into Nicolas Cage, I'm still me. I just look like Nicolas Cage, Like, I guess that's the thing, is that having them almost feel like, they are completely separate people. This Doctor is dead, and some new person goes out there. It's one of those things where it's like, well, yeah, I wouldn't want to regenerate, But I guess, to an extent, maybe that's kind of the point. And maybe I'm rambling, too. So, I like when... I understand the ideas of the Doctor being like, oh, well, it is technically a new person that goes off on those adventures. And what I am, me, like, the 12th Doctor, I'm gone. But, like, I get it and I understand it, but I also like the idea that it's like, I've changed my face, but I'm still me, Like, I don't know. It's such a strange thing to talk about, because it's almost like, and it's kind of, I know I'm stumbling over my words a bit, but I always do that, I guess. They bring it up in this episode, like, this is, like, that was Bill. What is a person if just memories? She is all of Bill's memories, so she is Bill. Even if maybe she's not technically the original, not her body, but this is Bill. And, this is Bill, but it's all of her memories. So it's kind of like, I guess it's possibly like, well, the Doctor, it's not that really the Doctor dies, but all that, the 12th Doctor is, I feel like it's like all that the 12th Doctor is now lives on in the memories of the 13th Doctor, Like how they say, oh, well, you'll always live on in my memories. If anything, that does happen to every Doctor. That Doctor technically ceases to exist, but lives on through the memories of themselves, Which is the strangeness of a Time Lord, It's all a complicated thing, honestly, but God damn it, I love this episode. God damn it all. And okay, part of it is they kind of cheat a little bit. I feel like they kind of cheated a bit on making this one of my favorite episodes, because they brought in Christmas of 1914, the Christmas Armistice. That's cheating right there, Doctor Who. You cheated a bit. That is also making, because it's so interesting, because from the beginning I was like, okay, this is a Christmas special. I was like, okay, it's World War I, 1914. I was like, is this that Christmas? Is this the Christmas Armistice? Is that right here? And then we get, Colonel Mark Gaddis come in, and that mustache, I was immediately, like, immediately makes you think of the Brigadier. And I was like, oh, but World War I, no, he wouldn't have been that old in World War I. So he's not playing the Brigadier. And it's like, no, he's playing his father. Oh. Playing his father. Well, it doesn't say. It doesn't. It just says the captain for Mark Gatiss. So. Oh man. Man, that was so crazy. I love that they recreated this scene from the 10th Planet, and they, with David Bradley as the first Doctor, and then they had the new actors as Ben and Polly. Not a good Ben. A great Polly, not a good Ben. It's so weird too, because I'm still watching their run on Doctor Who. If you guys are watching my classic reactions, the last one we recorded was the Moon Base. Still has Ben and Polly. It's Ben, Polly, Jamie, and the second Doctor. So going back and seeing new modern actors as Ben and Polly is actually pretty crazy too. Oh man. And I like that they had the actual regeneration from Hartnell to Troughton. Like, that was pretty cool. So technically, well, yeah, I guess it has, in the cast, it does have every actor as the Doctor because of, all the bubbles and stuff. So yeah, William Hartnell. So on the cast list, we have, in order of Doctors, William Hartnell, Jodie Whittaker, Tom Baker, Peter Davison, Christopher Eccleston, John Hurt, Sylvester McCoy, Paul McGann, John Pertwee, Matt Smith, David Tennant, and Patrick Troughton is how they're all listed here. So, and then obviously at the top of the cast is Peter Capaldi and David Bradley. So that was really cool, recreating that scene from the 10th Planet, and I like they do include a bit of the new regeneration effects, the effects that weren't there in 1966, but they do include the first Doctor's hand starting to glow, and then he sort of stops it a bit, and I like that. It's the original line from the episode of no, this is not over yet, and they play that into he doesn't want to regenerate, so that was really cool. Fran, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna go watch that again. I just love this. Previously on Doctor Who. This is so cool. And I imagine, because they have this part, and I like that 709 episodes ago, but they have this part with actually showing Hartnell and Ben and Polly, the original actors, but then it cuts to the new actors in that scene, and I would imagine that's because they don't have the actual 4th episode of the 10th Planet, and you don't want to cut to the animated.
Pretty soon we should be having visitors.
Cybermen.
What's different? You've got no feeling. I do not understand that. Emotions, love, pride, hate, fear.
Have you no emotions, sir?
And that's a good transition.
I guess this old body of mine is wearing a bit thin.
Doctor, wakey, it's all over now.
Okay, so... Okay. Ben is too tall. He is not blonde enough. Meanwhile, Polly is too blonde. Like, you couldn't find... Like, that wig is ridiculous. Or maybe it's just the hairstyle, but I don't know. But they're not the greatest Ben and Polly you could have gotten, you know?
It isn't all over. It's far from being all over.
Well.
What are you talking about?
I must get back to the TARDIS.
A long time ago, at the South Pole, the Doctor refused to regenerate.
I can't go through with it.
Twice.
I will fight it.
Okay, so that was just so cool, you know? That was so cool. And yeah, again, not exactly accurate Ben and Polly, but that's fine. It doesn't matter, you know, I'm just saying. If you're gonna, you know, have a new Ben and Polly, because see, that's the problem is that, well, now I don't know. I don't know if they were in, like, if they had a cameo in An Adventure in Space and Time. I guess I could go check on the cast list. No, I don't think so. Alright. So, because that's the thing, they had, you know, the actors for, Ian and Barbara and Susan in An Adventure in Space and Time. But they didn't really have Ben and Polly, so... Man. Okay. I mean, we have to actually start talking about the notes. How long have we been going? I can't see the timer properly. We've already been going an hour and a half. Okay. The timer blends in, because it's white text on my screen, it blends in with the tablecloth. The Christmassy tablecloth. So... Regeneration. The first Doctor and the 12th Doctor had to regenerate. And I like this idea that the TARDIS had to take him there. And he doesn't remember, you know? He can't remember it because the timelines are out of sync, you know? So the first Doctor doesn't remember not wanting to regenerate. He doesn't remember not wanting to regenerate. So the 12th Doctor doesn't remember it. So that was really, really cool. And yeah, just the interaction between 12 and 1 is just so interesting. Again, David Bradley killing it out here. You know? Killing it. You know? He is a brilliant first Doctor. He really... he's amazing. But... I don't know. You know, we always say the Doctor... It's always amazing when the Doctor interacts with himself. Anytime you get multiple Doctor actors in there, they're all amazing. So having the 12th Doctor and the first Doctor is just perfect, you know? And seeing how they work off each other. Because, you know, we have, you know, like the 11th Doctor and the 10th Doctor and how they work off each other. But they are very similar. So you have these two that are the literal... you know, opposite sides of life, you know? And of course, you know, this isn't 12 when he just started out and he was, you know, the grumpy old Scotsman. It's like, no, this is the rock and roller, you know? This is the goofy, you know, the goofy old man. So, that was cool. We had the Captain, which was very interesting. Again, you know, from the beginning, I was like, well, okay, the first thing I said was, oh my gosh, is this like that Christmas 1914 when they had the armistice? And sure enough, it was later. You know, at first, because they weren't doing anything with it, I thought, oh, maybe not. But no, there is, you know, that was actually it. And then once I saw it, well, at first I was like, oh, well, you know, it's Mark Gatiss. Isn't that amazing? Which he even got in the credits. That's just incredible, you know. I love Mark Gatiss. You know, he's incredible as Mycroft, and you know, even though like the stories he writes on this show aren't always my favorite. Like they're okay, but his work on Sherlock is just amazing. You know, so having him here is really, really cool. I like that. And yeah, as soon as I was like, okay, yeah, this guy. I mean, he looks like the Brigadier, but World War I, he can't be playing, you know, Alistair Gordon Lethbridge Stewart, but no, he was playing his father. So that was really, really cool. I like that inclusion, you know? Okay. So they had the line about dusting. It's like, I see you don't travel with Polly anymore because 12's TARDIS is so dusty. You know, there's a part of me that's like, well, wait, the first Doctor wasn't really like that. But on the other hand, it's like, I mean, he kind of was, but really to everyone. You know, like, you know, I don't doubt for a second that the first Doctor had his companions dust his TARDIS. But he had all of them dust his TARDIS. That's the only thing where it's like, you know, when he specifically says Polly, it's like, you asshole, you would have had Ben do it too. You know? But that's the thing. The first Doctor, maybe out of all of them, had always had that sort of superiority thing going on. You know, and they've said that before. It's like, oh, well, yeah, like there was like a scene, I think, between him and Ian where it's like, oh, well, I didn't think of that. And the Doctor was like, oh, no, of course you wouldn't, because I am clearly smarter, my higher intelligence, you know? It's like, the first Doctor did, you know, he sometimes would sort of boast about it a bit, you know? He would, you know, kind of, honestly, yeah, he was a little boastful about being a superior, you know, species. And yeah, I would kind of think, like, yeah, he would have his companions dust. So, now, again, keeping it specifically to Polly, that, and, you know, he did say, there was the line about, you know, all women are made of glass of some sorts. It's like, okay, motherfucker, don't let Barbara the Warrior hear you say that, you know? Don't even with that. Don't even. Barbara will tear your eyes out with her bare hands. But now, a part of it, I think, was the Doctor was also in grandpa mode. Because, yeah, it's like, oh, child, go clean some things for your grandfather. You know, it's like, I feel like it's sort of that. So, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, you can sort of take it as, you know, oh, well, the Doctor used to be sexist. I don't think it's really that he was sexist, but that he was just better than everyone. And he said that, you know? He said as much. So, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know what people's opinions on those lines are, but I feel like, and obviously, like, he didn't continue that very much. Like, you know, he says, like, oh, well, clearly he does miss you. He could use you to do some dusting, and, you know, but that was pretty much the extent of that. You know, after that, he didn't like, constantly say that to Bill or anything, you know? So yeah, like, so that's the thing, is that it's like, you know, I don't feel like they were trying to portray, like, oh, the first Doctor was sexist. Like, no, he'd say that to any companion. It's just that the 12th Doctor's companion is a girl. For some reason, he singled out Polly. I don't know. Come on, Polly was brilliant, you know? Polly was brilliant. She figured out that formula to, you know, create the stuff in order to beat the Cybermen on the moon base. Now, I know Ben said, nah, you stay here. This is man's work. That was not... I tried to do his accent, but it came out New York. I don't know why. It's like, you stay here. Why can't I do his voice? I don't know. His voice is always hilarious. I always love when he starts talking. But yeah, so I don't think it's specifically that, the first Doctor is sexist. It's like, I think he would say that to anyone, honestly, you know? Whatever. You can just sort of move past that. Anyway. We had the chamber, which was interesting. See, it's a weird thing where it's like, you know, when it's like, it's not an evil plan. And, you know, the Doctor, the 12th Doctor is like, I don't know what to do if it's not an evil plan. I'm kind of sitting here like, yeah, I don't know what to talk about. It's like, I don't know what to talk about if it's not an evil plan. I mean, it's an interesting thing. So, 5 billion years, which that's when is that? That's actually before the 10th Doctor and Rose go to New Earth. Isn't it? I don't remember, because it's it's around the year 5 billion that the Ninth Doctor takes Rose to, and then I swear it was like 24 years later was when the 10th Doctor went to New Earth with Rose, and then like another 10 years later when the 10th Doctor took Martha. I don't know, but 5 billion in 12 years. Year 5 billion and 12 is when this person creates the testimony, which basically it takes a person just before their death and they take their testimony. They basically copy all their memories so that they have a complete like reconstruction of that person and then put them back where they were. And it's like, oh, okay then. Cool. That's really cool, actually. So, and yeah, it's like, it's not an evil plot. And they were going to do that with Captain Lethbridge Stewart. I almost want to say the Captain Brigadier, just to make it shorter. I guess we could say, well, no, because it's Lethbridge Stewart is, his full last name. We'll just say the Captain. We all know who we're talking about. So they were doing that with the Captain, but he accidentally was dumped in the 1980s because of the two doctors dying in the same spot, basically, So that was interesting. And then we got the return of Rusty. That was really cool. I like that. And it's like, a good Dalek. It's like, I am not a good Dalek. You are a good Dalek. My voice is starting to go a little bit. Ugh, I still have to record Attack on Titan today. Yeesh. This Pepsi doesn't help. Anyway. So yeah, that was really cool, the return of Rusty. And I liked using, just using Rusty as a database. Like, oh, the biggest database in the universe would be the Daleks. Like, that makes sense, That makes sense, so I like that. Let's see. Oh, okay, I put good. So I liked Bill talking with the First Doctor about, what were you running to when you left Gallifrey? What were you running to? And he acknowledges, that's a very good question. And I like that it's like, okay, he wanted to see, in the universe, it makes logical sense for bad to prevail, but it doesn't. Good prevails in the universe. And he wanted to find out why. He wanted to find why good prevails. But in doing so, he became the reason. Because he went out through space and time, he actually became the reason. He was looking for himself. That is incredible. That is amazing. I love that. He went out looking for basically the reason of the universe, and but he didn't realize he was looking for himself. That's very, very clever. I like that. Sort of if anything, it's sort of a bootstrap paradox, but I like it. I really do like that. That's a good reason for why he left Gallifrey. Because that's the thing, when we talk about with like all the other doctors, like, oh yeah, I ran away from Gallifrey. I stole a TARDIS, and it's like, oh, a madman. The only person crazy enough to steal a TARDIS and run. But that's the First Doctor, who's not really a madman, Like, the madman kind of comes in later, honestly. Like, he's not really a madman. He's a brilliant man, but not a madman. So when you put that on him, like, this was his madness of stealing the TARDIS and seeing the universe and trying to find the logic of the universe. So that's the thing, So yeah, it's like that honestly does make sense. Like, okay, what drove this guy? This guy specifically, Mr. Proper, Mr. Proper old man, gentleman, first Doctor, what drove him to the universe? And it was honestly himself. That is very, very clever. And then, the whole thing with the testimony, that was clever. And again, it's not an evil plot. Again, much like with, the last 2 episodes, we really don't have a villain, And I guess, last episode we had the Cybermen who were adversaries, but they were just kind of adversaries. They were antagonists. They weren't really the villains. The 2 masters weren't really the villains. It was just a situation that was really just happening. And it's the same thing here. There's no evil plan, none of that. It's just the 2 of them trying to come to terms with their own regenerations, And the testimony was part of that, and I like that. And yes, we did get to the armistice. The armistice of Christmas of 1914. Which is just amazing. Again, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, Doctor Who, you're cheating. That just immediately propels that up in one of my favorite episodes, Which, honestly, I love Girl in the Fireplace. I've always loved Girl in the Fireplace, and I've always said that, through all the episodes, I've always said that is my favorite episode of the entire show. But honestly, I may have to put that to number 2 and put this above it, because this is just so amazing. Oh man. Watch, I'm gonna go find out everyone hates this. No, which I don't think. I don't think everyone hates. I mean, I don't know, technically. I've only just seen the episode. I will obviously go on Twitter and ask people's opinions, and I will obviously read your comments about it. But, I mean, I don't think... I get this feeling that this is not, like, a hated episode, or... I don't know. I'm hoping people love this episode as much as I love it, basically, Because sometimes that happens where, I really, really enjoy an episode, and then I go on and find out people don't really like it. Or, something like The Power of the Daleks, I watch it, and I don't really care for it, and then I find out it's one of the most beloved episodes of the entire series, It's this strange thing, but I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful on this one, because you know what? I think I gotta say it, and I don't know if maybe, after thinking about this, maybe I'll switch it back, but honestly, I'm thinking I have to call this my favorite episode now. What an incredible episode. And then we had the first Doctor. He came to terms with his regeneration. And he went, and I like that it does transition back into William Hartnell, and they show the actual regeneration. See, I thought they were going to do was I thought it was going to be David Bradley, and he was going to regenerate into the actor that played Patrick Troughton in An Adventure in Space and Time. But I like that, because they start off this episode with Hartnell and then transition him into David Bradley, so they ended with that. He transitions back, goes back to being Hartnell, and they show that regeneration, Because that's the thing. I thought they were going to have David Bradley on the ground, but they do, the orange and yellow special effects of the modern regenerations, But no. But that's okay. So I like that. I like that they had the legitimate regeneration in there. That was really cool. Peace. Peace alone. Can the Doctor never have peace? And he can. If he ever chooses to, he could die. Now, the thing is, even if he ever chose to die, there's always the possibility of coming back. I mean, for God's sake, look at the Master. That bastard has died like 28 times, Which is why last episode, like, I'm totally fine if that's the end of Missy, but I have the feeling that's not the end of the Master. But we'll get to that later. But yeah, so I like that even at the end, even though they say it's like, oh, don't die, but they say, but it's your choice. If you're ready to die, then do it. Then he says, this next part I have to do alone, which is sad, which is really, really sad. And he did get his memories back of Clara. He does remember Clara now, and that's amazing. And I did like that moment there with Bill and Nardole, so that was really, really good. And then he went to regenerate. One more lifetime wouldn't hurt. And I love that he talks to the next Doctor. It's like, basically just like words of advice to his next form, Like, I really do like that. As soon as his hand starts glowing, the cloister bells go off like, no, get out of here.
Let's get it right.
Get it right by not regenerating in here.
A few things to say to you.
I like this.
Basic stuff first. Never be cruel, never be cowardly. And never ever eat pears.
Madman. Man, his hair is super long in this one.
Hate is always foolish. Love is always wise.
And I love this music too. It's the same music when he's busting through the wall.
To be kind. Oh, and you mustn't tell anyone your name. No one would understand it anyway.
I like that. No one would understand your name.
Except children. Children can hear it. Sometimes, if their hearts are in the right place, like the stars are too. Children can hear your name. But nobody else. Nobody else. Ever. Laugh hard. Run fast. Be kind. Doctor, I let you go.
Oh man, a lot of lightning in this one too, but I love that. I let you go. He has to let go of the Doctor. And he's easier to see the transition in this one. It's not just a sneeze, Ring falls off. Which is exactly like the second Doctor. I love that they were playing this music too. This classic, like, Bad Wolf music, basically. TARDIS is like, shit. Okay, we're good. Ugh. And see, I am so curious about her performance. Because, she's younger. Younger than Peter Capaldi, she is a younger woman. And the whole thing is, we had young men, 10, 11 young men, but then you go to 12 and it's like, the Doctor's starting to act his age, So to go from this old man to this young woman is very interesting. I am very curious I've been so curious about what her performance is like, and I have theories. I have theories that maybe I almost feel like maybe she'll be sort of a return to the 10th Doctor, you know? And there's one thing is I'm curious if she's going to be that alien. And we'll probably talk about this more after we actually see some of her performance. But I've always wondered, like, I kind of wonder, like, is she going to be more alien or not? Because the 9th Doctor still felt pretty alien. The 11th Doctor, the 12th Doctor, a lot of doctors do feel alien. It's, you know, they feel like, you know, they are separate from their companions, from the rest of the world. They are something unique. Now, the 1st Doctor, while perhaps not feeling alien, he felt different because he was older, because he had this sort of, you know, grandfather, you know, persona, I guess, about him. That's what sort of separated him from, like, his young companions. But that was kind of one thing with the 10th Doctor, was at times he almost didn't feel alien. And so that's sort of what I've been thinking for a little while. It's like, maybe is 13 going to be like that? Or I would be curious how she keeps the alien going, you know? And this is all just a bunch of rambles, basically, speculation, and we won't know until we get in there. Unfortunately, we are not going to be getting into it next episode, or next week. We will be back in 2 weeks. Hold on, let me grab it. Ow. Okay. Join us back 2 weeks when we start Series 11. I got a Blu-ray this time, as we start Series 11 of Doctor Who. So, yeah. That works. Okay. That is all for the 12th Doctor. That is all for the 1st Doctor. And that is all for what could quite possibly be my favorite episode of the entire show. See you guys in 2 weeks. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films. See you later. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If you want to watch more of my Doctor Who reactions, go all the way through the 12th Doctor again, you can click on the playlist, you can subscribe if you haven't done that already, and be sure you hit that notification bell. You can support me on Patreon and follow me on social media, links below in the description. See you guys later.